Sisters, it is Saturday night. We are back, and yes, I have the gangster hat on, as somebody just made the comment. It's my typical Saturday hat, has been for nearly, we're pushing 2 years on the channel at this point. So, all right, let's see if y'all can hear me and see me, and I did it again. There we go. All right, I had to make sure I muted that. So let's see. Okay, I see Finley the dog, Johnny Finance. There's a bunch of 5x5s. Okay. Well, we're all here. So unless there's somebody in the family who's from Illinois, we didn't win $1 billion last night, but we will have somebody win something here tonight, which is a good thing. But we're going to start out with what's going on in the world today and what we kind of need to pay attention to. And I'm going to go into this a lot more in depth in the morning. But if y'all didn't notice that Nancy Pelosi is over the Pacific somewhere right now, heading to Asia. And the Chinese aren't too happy about it. Okay, there's a whole bunch of interesting things going on, and kind of this is how I'm figuring this one. All right, if y'all know who Gordon Chang is, okay, he's probably the premier China analyst in the United States, and he was on Fox, I think it was this morning, talking about the 4-hour phone call that Biden had with Xi Jinping the other day. Now, the White House is not releasing this transcript, which is interesting. But apparently Gordon Chang got his hands on it. Xi Jinping threatened the life of Joe Biden on that call. Okay. Now, I want you to think about the next part. If you saw about the same time that Nancy Pelosi's plane took off today, Biden announced that he has COVID again and is going into isolation. Personally, I call bullshit. Okay. And the reason I'm going to say that is because he just got over COVID, Monday, I think he tested negative Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And all of a sudden, the same time she leaves to Asia, at the same time that Xi Jinping has threatened Biden's life, that all of a sudden he's in isolation. Would that possibly be a bunker somewhere? Do they expect potential war? Now, China is very good at issuing idle threats. Lines in the sand, mean as much coming out of China as they did coming out of Barack Obama. But just something to pay attention to, so keep your eyes open to international events right now. Because the other thing you think about, the Speaker of the House isn't the one that handles international diplomacy. That would be the Secretary of State. So why isn't Tony Blinken going? Oh, I don't know. Why is Nancy Pelosi going? Could there be some possible shenanigans going on? I don't know. Let's think about the stock trades that Pelosi's husband was making, like buying and selling boatloads of options on NVIDIA, okay, semiconductor company. Just so you know, 90% of the semiconductors in the world are made in Taiwan. You think Nancy might have a little bit of personal business to handle over there? Mm-hmm. Okay. This stinks like a hog pen in July. Okay. So we'll see. But like I said, I'm going to go into detail on that one in the morning and talk about a lot of the other stuff there. So we'll go from there. All right. So I know why everybody is here tonight. We got 1,900 people in here right now. And I'm assuming there's some new faces in here. We will start off with this drawing. And this is for the solar-powered cooler / refrigerator. I use it as a refrigerator. It's great. But it's the shape of a cooler and everything of the sort. You guys have seen the reviews on it. And Elliot said he wanted to give another one away. So hence here we are. So what I have done, and I mentioned this in the video yesterday when I told you guys about it, this is subscriber only, and all giveaways are going to be like that from now on. that they're going to be for subscribers only. It's the best way I can do it to kind of keep out the serial contest winners, or people or contest entrants that come in, never watch the channel, win something, and you never hear from them again. I want this to be something that can go to a family member, and that's about the best way I can do it. So I also put in the comments tonight that you had to be a subscriber for over an hour before you can comment in the comment section. That again is to prevent somebody from coming in here 5 minutes to 8 or 5 minutes to 9 and saying, hey, I'm going to go enter this contest, see if I win or whatever. Because you have to be present to win, and you have to be able to say you are here. Well, if you just subscribed 5 minutes before the live stream started, you can't comment, so therefore you can't win. Just some fail safes I'm putting in there to try to keep this for the family members, if you will. So, all right, so we're going to get into this here real quick, and before we start, I'm going to remind everybody, you had to enter on yesterday's video only. You have to be in the contiguous 48 states, and your comment that gets pulled up has to mention the state in which you live in. And I'm going to say this like I do every time. If you put two comments in there, one says, I'd love to win, and the second comment says Pennsylvania, and the I love to win one comes up, sorry, that is not a winning entry. So must have the state, must be in the contiguous 48, must be in here. You will have 3 minutes after I call your name to state your presence, and then you will win. The winner will need to send me their name, physical address, because Elliot ships stuff FedEx, I don't deliver to P.O. boxes, and a phone number. I will get it to him, and they'll probably get it shipped out sometime early next week to you, and we will go from there. So, with that being said, let me flip the computer over, and let me flip the screen over. And now I got to blow this up so we can see it. Adjust the camera. All right. So here we go. So up on the upper right-hand side, if you see right here where my mouse is, I have entered the URL from last night's video, or yesterday afternoon's video, whatever it would be. We are going to filter out duplicate users, so everybody gets one entry. I am not including replies. You had to make the original comment. That is same as always. Okay. There is no other way to do it. So now I get to do this little math problem, make sure I still remember my math. So 7 plus 2 is 9. It'll probably say you've been sitting too long. Do it again. Nope. Actually, what do you know? So let's see how many comments we got. We have, ticking along, 13, 14, yeah, I can see it. I know there's a delay, so let's see what we got here. 2,374 comments is what we've got. All right, so let's roll on over here, and I'm going to click start, and here comes the winner's name. Okay. Zoritza Nepenthe. My husband and I played this game last night in good old Northwest Indiana. I'd buy land and build houses for my kids and my husband's parents. The land would have either a lake or river running through it so we could all fish and kayak. I'd be able to keep the animals, want to help go with prepping. I'd love the garden, yada, 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 yada. So, and we definitely move out of Indiana. My husband keeps saying Tennessee. Okay, I lived in Indiana. It was decent. All right. So, Zarista, you are the temporary winner. You have to be here. So, let's see if Zarista is here. It is 9:09. So, Zarista, there she is right there. Holy cow, I never thought I'd win. You are Zaritza. I'm sorry, I keep pronouncing your name wrong. You are here, so congratulations. You are the winner. And let me get rearranged here so I can do the rest of this. All right. So Zaretza, you need to send me your name, address, and phone number, pinballpreparedness@protonmail.com. As soon as I get that, I will get it over to Elliot, and like I said, be sent out to you in the morning. So congratulations. So sorry it's not $1 billion, but hey, it's a prepper thing, which is good. So all right, good deal. So let's get into Q&A. And sorry, I'm on the Gatorade tonight. But it's okay. So let's get into Q&A, and I want to kind of tell everybody how this all works here. Okay. Like every other YouTube channel, if you guys have a question for me, please put it in all caps. All right. There's over 2,000 of you in here. There's one of me. So I got to read these things fast. That being said, the moderators, Jacob, Robert, Lorna, Lucky Dame, and North Shore, also have to read these things really fast. And so that I ask everybody, please keep your comments respectable of your peers in here. Keep it PG-13, okay? No nasty comments about each other, no arguments, no F this or whatever, that those comments will get deleted quite quick. All right. We try to keep this family friendly. We're supposed to be mature adults here. So let's keep it that way. I start at the top. I read as many questions as I can. Please understand, again, there's 2,000 plus of you guys and one of me. So you type your question. I don't see it immediately. I'm usually running 10, 15 minutes behind in the comments, trying to go all the way down. If you haven't heard your answer, please put it in again. If I see your question a second time, I'll just skip it. Not a big deal. My memory can last at least an hour. But I will say this, probably get your questions typed in if you want me to answer them by 8:30, 8:40, because if you put something in at 5 minutes to 10, there's no way in the world I'm going to say it. Okay, not during the live stream at least. So, all right, let's get to the top here after all the congratulations, and we will start into questions. Yeah, Lucky Dame saying that please do not spam the chat with emojis. Yes, I would say the same thing, guys. Okay. I don't care if you put one in there, but 15 emojis as a response. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. So, Rose Zingelman, any way to get rid of morning glories without Roundup? Yeah, I know. You got them too. They crawl up my trellises every year, and the only thing you can do is go out and pull them and unthread the spirals up all your trellises. So yeah, I mean, what you can use if they're already up, you pull them or poison, and we don't want to use poison because you got food there, so you're going to be pulling them. What you can do is after your plants are up, you can always sprinkle preen for vegetables in your garden, and that'll keep them from germinating, but we're a little late for that. So, but yeah, at this point, you're pulling them. Dan A, can snap peas be a fall crop in zone 8A? Absolutely. You just need to figure out when your last frost date is, or your first frost date, I'm sorry, and back yourself off about 60 days, and that's when you want to plant them. Remember, peas can handle a frost. Peas can handle a little bit of snow. So certainly no problem getting them in late. My last frost date is, or I keep doing that. You think we're in the springtime. My first frost date is around Halloween. So if I wanted to plant peas here in the fall, around September 1st is when I'd be planting them. Warrior Cheryl Ann, thank you for the super chat. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Ray Scooter sending prayers to the flooded areas. Yes, the folks up in Kentucky that you saw what's going on. That's not far from me, guys. That's about an hour north of me, where all that flooding happened. And, they've got somewhere between 9 inches and 12 inches of rain in 24 hours. It's a lot of freaking rain. Okay. I mean, last I heard, it was 25 people dead. So, prayers, and I put a link up there the other day if anybody care to donate to the recovery fund for those folks. Kentucky's having a hell of a time this year. The west side of Kentucky got whacked with tornadoes in the spring. Now the east side's getting whacked with floods. So prayers for the folks in Kentucky. Fred Eric, what's my favorite candy? Depends. I love to eat some strawberry Twizzlers or a Snickers bar if it's going to be chocolate. I'd say those are probably my two favorites. Susan Lathrop, got to watch a few of Mrs. P's videos. She's adorable. Loved watching her. She's very camera shy. I keep trying to ask her to do more because you guys keep trying to ask me to do more. She's camera shy. So sometimes she'll have a bout of, hey, you know what? I can do this for a day. But it's funny when we do it because we got to do the same scene 4 or 5 takes because she's like, I don't like that one. My smile doesn't look right. So, something would take an hour and a half to do takes us 6 hours because we're filming it. But no, I love her to death. You know that. Jen Boyles, how are the plants you use the TP strips to plant doing? Oh, those are long since harvested. That was my beets. I did those. What else did I do? My spinach seeds were crap. I only got 2. I think what did I plant? Like about 10 or 12 spinach plants. I had 2. My beets did great. And my radishes were fair this year. So I haven't had good luck with radish. The first year we were here, 2020, or first planting year I was here was 2020. We had fabulous radishes. 2021, 2022, not so much. We'll see what happens in the fall because radishes will be part of my fall crop. Serious Prepper, worms ate holes in my potatoes. How do you prevent this from happening again? You left them in the ground too long. That would be the first problem you've got here because the worms are going to start going after them when they start rotting. The other thing you want to remember, potatoes don't need to be excessively watered. Now, understand there's nothing that you can do in some of these places with all this rain, but if you get a lot of rain, that's going to cause them to rot, which is going to cause the worms to go after the potatoes. You don't want dry soil, but you do not need wet soil for your potatoes whatsoever. By putting in wet soil, you are increasing the chances of the worm population to eat your potatoes. A Blaze, I think, 1175. What exactly did Xi tell Biden on the phone, or where can we read the transcript? Give me a second. I will post the link for the article, at least, if I can find it here. Nope, hang on. All right, there is the link to the interview with Gordon Chang this morning. So, Nana KK 65. Let's see if I can find it again. The whole thing shot to the bottom on me. Okay. There we are. 65 years old, wanting to do a garden or wanting to do a greenhouse, have one person to help. What do you recommend? Okay, this is there. I don't have enough information even remotely close to answer this question here, because how big of a greenhouse do you want? I mean, do you want, like Danny and Wanda have on Deep South Homestead, these high tunnels that are, what are they, 24 by 60 or something like that? They're enormous. Do you want something that you're going to grow in over the winter? Do you want something that you're going to use for seed starting? There are a lot of questions on it. How big? There's a big difference between building an 8x8 greenhouse and building a 24 by 40 greenhouse. I'll give you this. Mrs. P and I were talking about this, and I actually found the last piece of the puzzle that I needed today for that is when I do my seed starts in late winter going into spring, I always do them upstairs in a spare bedroom. Okay. And I've got my little grow lights and everything that you saw that I've made, did that. And Mrs. P doesn't like the idea that I've got plants all over the place in a bedroom. So if this garage ever gets completed, I figured out what I'm going to do there So I'm going to have a table in. I'm going to drop sheets of plastic from the ceiling, close it all in that way, hang my lights from the ceiling, and put a small heater, a greenhouse heater in there, and then I'll be able to grow stuff there. So, a lot of times what you're doing, you've got to figure out what you got and what makes sense for where you're doing it. There are plenty of videos on YouTube for how to make your own greenhouse. The ones that I like the best, and I don't have the link, I've watched them before, is the guys that are making with 2x4s and then PVC pipe to make the hoop, and then going over them with, I think it's 9 mil plastic or something like that. Those seemed like they'd be the most cost efficient and best size, because I see some of these things, $15,000-$20,000 for a greenhouse. No, again, you've got to look at the cost analysis of doing it. If I spend $15,000 on a greenhouse, which I'm not doing, okay, how long would it take me to break even with that money from growing outside? How much more produce do I have to get to make that a worthwhile effort? Can I make that money, can I save that money and grow more outside in the summer and preserve it? Or, you've got to do those analysis yourself. So sorry if that's not the greatest answer for your question, but I don't want to mislead you. K-Rex, should I have the pressure gauge on a brand new pressure canner checked before using it? You don't need to. You're not even, most people won't even use the pressure gauge anyway. You're just using the appropriate weight on there, and that's it. So, Jurassic Pork Chop, do I think Pelosi will go to Taiwan? Is she nuts? Yes and yes. I absolutely, like I said, I think she's going because she's got personal money at stake, lots of it at stake, that her husband, but she doesn't front run or trade on any inside information. Her husband does, so Nancy's safe. A Truck Campbell, do I watch S2 Underground? I've watched a couple. Nothing wrong with the channel whatsoever. But no, I don't watch it. There's thousands of channels on YouTube, and I watch a couple of them pretty regularly, but I've got way too many other things I need to be doing. I don't have 4 hours where I can sit down and start watching videos, because the time I'm in front of a computer is reading your guys' comments, it's answering your guys' emails, it's doing research to what's going on so I can produce these videos. If I sit down and watch 1, maybe 2 videos a day, that's a lot. And usually those are ones that will let me decompress from everything else. The 2 videos I watched today were the Veggie Boys video today on picking vegetables, a decompression video. And then I watched Magic Prepper's video that was about 5.5 minutes long, that he was talking about HR 1808. That's literally all I watched today. Jasper's mom lost 300 already. That's normal. Once the contest is over, people run for the hills. That's why I put the restrictions in there, because I know exactly what there's some people doing. One John M. Thompson, when or if do you think the weapons ban will take effect? Supreme Court shut it down. It's not going to take effect. It's not going to pass the Senate. Okay, there's no feasible way they get 60 votes to pass this. This is another reason why they wanted to kill the filibuster, guys. If they make it 51, they could ramrod all this crap through. And this is the reason the filibuster's in there. This is why the Constitution was written the way it was. The founding fathers were pretty smart. They realized early on 51 was not an acceptable number to pass something. Okay, that's mob rules, right? And they figured, okay, if you have 60 people from one party in there, that's a good idea of which way the country as a whole leans. So this is why they put it in. This is why when you see all this, we want to get rid of the filibuster, we want to go to mob rule. That's why people with more than one brain cell are going no. Okay. The thing is, if this goes to, if by chance somehow they put something through that passes, okay, anything, it will be in the court system day one. Okay, it won't be in the Supreme Court, but it'll be in federal court day one. Then of course it'll go to the appellate court, and then it'll go to the Supreme Court. In the whole time, the law will not be able to be enforced. Okay, because again, remember this: they can write all the laws they want, but if nobody enforces them, the laws are useless. I mean, there's still laws in the books that you can't hunt whales in Minnesota and stuff like that. Spitting on the sidewalk is illegal or something. Nobody enforces them, but they're still technically laws. Okay. So remember that first. But I can tell you right now what the Supreme Court's going to say is, if you want to do this, you need to amend the Constitution. You need to amend the Second Amendment, which there's a process for that. And when you get 3/4 of the states to sign on, then you can do this. You can't, with the stroke of a pen, saying this is illegal. Doesn't work that way. That's why it won't go anywhere. Rummy Davis, is Alaska Prepper out of jail yet? I don't think he comes out of jail till like Monday or Tuesday. Julie, what's a good crop to plant now if you're in Massachusetts? I'd be getting my peas in the ground. I'd be getting cabbage in the ground, carrots, beets, parsnips, turnips. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch, your broccoli, cauliflower. You got your cold weather crops. You can get those in. If you get them in the ground now, you should be able to harvest those before everything goes FUBAR. Fed up American. No, I'm hardly a national treasure. I'm a national pain in the ass, but that's it. Leah Zell 7, why do I go by pinball? We get this question about once a month. It was my call sign when I was in the Army. Sick of it. All of my tomatoes are rotten on the bottom. Why? It's called blossom end rot. You're getting black spots on the bottom of it, right? It's because your soil lacks calcium. There's no calcium for the tomatoes to take up, and they start rotting from the end. You need to put calcium nitrate to the plants, or again, me talking about free solutions all the time. Every time you make scrambled eggs or hard-boiled eggs, save your eggshells, wash them off, let them dry out, crush them, and when you plant your tomatoes next year, put those eggshells in the bottom of the hole, and it'll act like a slow-release fertilizer. If you've got it now, crush your eggshells, put a couple of drops of vinegar into a good heaping tablespoon of eggshells. That will release the calcium, and you can spread it out now. It's not going to recover the tomatoes that you got, but any other tomatoes, you should have no problem at that point. But that is spot on. You've got a calcium deficiency in your soil. Nest Prepper, how often do I fertilize my green beans? Once when I plant them, and once when they start to flower, and that's it. Okay. Jersey Prepper, hey Pinball, when do you think it's going to get real nasty in the U.S.? As in nastier than it already is? We're already seeing people on a very short string, being rude. I mean, somebody emailed me today about buying chicken and dumplings in the grocery store. They had 8 cans and have been gone for next to forever. And so they decided they were going to take the 8 cans, and some other guy started bitching at them, going, why are you taking them all? You're not going to leave anybody for anybody else. And they asked him, do you want some? He goes, no. Fine. The store doesn't care. Unless there's a sign that says limit 2, take as many as you want. The store wants you to buy stuff, guys. Trust me. They don't care if you buy them all. They don't care if you buy 2 and 4 other people buy 2, or you buy all 8. They just want to sell it. And again, like I told you before, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I don't care. If you wanted the stuff, you should have been at the store before me, period. But yeah, people are getting nasty, and there's I mean, look at the congressional baseball game the other day. You had climate protesters out in front of the congressional baseball game. I mean, the left is going completely unhinged, and they are going to get worse and worse and worse. And I'm not talking politicians, I'm talking about the people. And when November happens and they get their ass handed to them, they are going to completely lose it. You know, I always get a kick out of all these people, you know, like Van Jones or any of Joy Behar and all these, you know, blowhards on TV calling the Republicans, the conservatives, calling them fascists. And I'm going, you don't even know what the word means, do you? Because if you looked in the mirror, that would be the textbook definition of fascist yourself. But that's no big surprise because the left is notorious for accusing everybody else of doing exactly what they're doing themselves. Tug Hill, how do I deal with rats eating my tomatoes? I have traps, but no luck. That one I can't answer. I don't have I've never had a rat problem. So yeah, I'd say traps or whatever. I mean, that one I can't give you an answer on. William Copeland, think we make it to midterms? What comes first, SHTF or midterms? Midterms come first, and they're the trigger for SHTF. Unless, of course, Nancy Pelosi does something stupid. Gee, there's a long shot here in the next couple of days, and then all hell breaks loose from there. I mean, again, you know, I'll go into that more in depth in the morning. A Cushnet prepper, I thought the big guy was in good grace with China. Remember this, China wants to rule the world. They don't say it, not publicly, okay? But China wants to rule the world. And the Chinese Communist Party is trying to do the same thing as the National Socialist Party of Germany did in 1940, okay? Except they're not doing it by force, they're trying to do it by economics. We'll buy everything. And, you know, and the money's no good anyway, and they know it. But if they get control of it now, they've got it, right? You know, and then when the world economy crashes, thanks to Klaus Schwab and all the rest of the Klaus clowns, China's like, well, this is ours. We're keeping it. So, Gizmo, is there a good complete book or table for using the oxygen packets? Okay, the oxygen absorbers, I'm assuming what you mean. Not that I know of. You're going to have to look up each thing individually by you know, different YouTube channels or whatever it would be. Miranda Babcock, how to communicate with a family who is 30 minutes away in a grid down situation. Well, you need to do that now. You need to have the plan now. And if they're staying where they're staying and you're staying where you're staying, then that's the plan and there won't be the communication. I mean, if you get ham radios or something like that, okay, maybe you can catch each other on a CB depending on how good of an antenna you've got. That's a possibility. But otherwise, you need to have a plan. Are you coming there? Or are you going there? Are they coming to you? And everybody needs to know that ahead of time. You know, this is the route we're going to take. If the primary route's out, this is the secondary route that we're going to take, okay? It will take us X amount of time to get there. Figure out how long it takes you to drive, how long it takes you to ride a bicycle, how long it takes you to walk, okay? And then they can figure it, and there should be checkpoints. You know, we're going to here, and, you know, we'll leave a spot of orange paint underneath the payphone that's in front of the gas station. Okay, because if they don't show up, that's how you're going to be able to tell when you go look for them how far they got. If you get to that gas station and there's a spot of orange spray paint underneath the cell phone or underneath the payphone, okay, you know they got here. You go to the next checkpoint and there isn't one. Now you know they're somewhere between the last spot where they didn't get to. Busted Beak, how many oxygen absorbers should I use for 2-gallon bags? It depends on what you are putting in, okay? Silly String, have I ever made yellow squash relish, and would you like the recipe? I've made many different kinds of zucchini relish, yes. It's one of the things that we do. fortunately, some of our zucchini are coming in. And yeah, one of my zucchini plants, guess what, is a yellow squash. So I don't know what the deal is with seed companies this year, but boy, they hired a bunch of people who don't know the difference between seeds and just threw whatever they wanted to in bags. The fam, what is a good starter recipe for soil for a raised bed vegetable garden? If you go to the playlists, I'll see if I can find the name for you real quick. My gardening playlist, and I'm waiting for it to come up. Bear with me. It's going to be one of the first two videos. It's either laying the groundwork or dirty deeds done dirt cheap, one of the two. And those are the ones where I walk you through exactly how to build soil. Okay, what I did from starting from scratch here. Statine 85. Which food plants like the whey, the leftover from curds and cheese? Potatoes, tomatoes, something else? I don't know. Just because I don't have a milk cow, so I don't have the whey, so I don't have it. My guess is, because it's going to be calcium, that would be tomatoes and peppers, though. But again, that is my guess. Carol, what do I do to get rid of green worms on my tomatoes? BT. That's what you're going to be spraying those with. Ray Scooter, why do I have a 7-foot tomato and no blossoms? Because you've given it way too much nitrogen and no potassium and phosphorus. That would be it. Okay. It's got all the green growth in the world, but it doesn't have the potassium and phosphorus it needs to set fruit. So get some potassium and phosphorus on there. Prepping for heaven, there might be a serious problem with your canned stuffed peppers with rice. Actually, Mrs. P ate some for dinner last night that we canned last month, or tonight that we canned last month. They were fine. So I know people say, oh, you're not supposed to do rice, everything like that. You're not supposed to can zucchini. There's all sorts of things. Just because the USDA tells me something doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't work. I watched a video yesterday. Somebody showed me how to can watermelon. You tell me that you can can watermelon. All right. Find that in the ball canning book. Nope, but worked. Okay. Purring Lady, what is Pelosi's end game in going to Taiwan? I think my guess is that she knows something's going to happen. The Chinese are coming in, and she's going to try to get all the Taiwan Semiconductor and all the semiconductor companies there to move their operations to California. Remember, Nancy Pelosi is from California. And that way the U.S. would have a stranglehold on the semiconductor industry. It's my assumption. Rena LaRue, thank you for the video on recession versus depression. I had been wondering. Yeah, it was funny. I watched something yesterday and somebody was saying, oh, yeah, we're already in a depression. I'm like, okay, you might want to look up the definition of it. No, we're not. That would be 10% drop in GDP. We haven't got there. Give Joe time, but we're not there. Shade David Creason, any recommendations on shade cloth for the garden? Again, that's going to be something you are going to have to figure out by trial and error, okay? Because whether you want 40% shade cloth, 70% shade cloth, or whatever is going to depend on the intensity of the sunlight that you get on a particular garden. You'd have two gardens in your yard that need different shade cloth, okay? Because the microclimates that you get, the different intensity of the sun on the north side of your yard versus the south side of your yard based on tree shadows, your house, whatever would be. Yeah, nobody can give you any recommendations. That's one you're going to have to figure out by trial and error. Plain and simple, how to keep my teenagers from eating my preps. It's real simple. Tell them to go get a job. That's it. You want to eat? Here you go. Start earning it. You know, all of a sudden, once they realize how much food costs, they might be a little bit more understanding why it's not there. Go get a job. Bob B, how do you sterilize the soil after removing tomato blighted plants? If you're talking about in pots, best thing I'd say to do is hit the soil with boiling water. If you're talking about your garden, then tilling it is probably going to be your best bet. And then not planting it until next year. Let nature take over and let it kill out there. Shelly Knoll, help. Will rubber snakes keep the squirrels out of my garden? You can try. I mean, eventually the squirrel's going to go, that snake hasn't moved in 2 weeks. It's not real. Okay. You're going to have to go out and move the snake around. So, Carl Miller, what's happening with the DEF and diesel engine oil shortage? I haven't heard anything recently, so I don't have any updates. Claudia Reynolds, how long do you let garlic dry, and do you know they're dry? Usually about a week, 2 weeks. By 2 weeks, you should be good. And when you're going to know, because when you cut your garlic, you're going to take off the top and leave about an inch of the stem. And when you just plant it, you cut it off, you're going to see how the inside of the stem is green. When that whole inside of the stem that you're looking at is white, it's dry. Grace Acres, suggestions to get my tomatoes to ripen. They're Cherokee purple, huge and still green. I'm guessing they are still on the vine. As dumb as this sounds, you could put some bananas out there and let the bananas rot at the bottom of the plant. There's a gas in bananas that's released that helps food ripen. That would be it's either that or wait. So, just me, are honeysuckle good for eating or medicinal uses? I do not know. Wyoming Yeti, frost dates May 25th and September 18th, potato variety recommendation. September 18th, what do you got? You have 6 weeks. You don't have enough time to grow potatoes. So yeah, you're not going to do anything there. You're going to get one crop of potatoes in, and that's going to be planting the 1st of June and harvesting before your frost. I would say probably looking at, you're almost going to have to look at like early potatoes, looking like at a Kennebec. You're gonna have to look at shorter term tomatoes, and I'd say probably a Kennebec white would be a good one. Margaret Little, what is your favorite recipe for any zucchini bread or muffins? Playlist, Cooking with Mrs. P. I made zucchini bread in there. That's my favorite recipe. Yeah, after you've done this for a while, most of your answers are, I did a video on that before. I think I've done 1,200 and some odd videos since I started the channel already. What am I planning for fall? Cabbage, radishes, carrots, and beets. That will be the extent of my fall planning. And the carrots are going to be, I've got a video on, I'm doing something different. I'm working on the video. It's just going to take a little bit of time because I got to build some stuff. So that's what I've been doing. Squeaky Melissa, how do you store dry dog food? Can I use a food saver? You really shouldn't. Dry dog food will go rancid within about 6 to 9 months. So dry dog food is not a good prep because of all the oils in it. Canned dog food is fine, but I've done a video on this, how to make your own dog food out of mostly what's going to be in your garden. If you're growing rice, then it's all in your garden, but storing dry dog food for the long term is not a good idea. It will go rancid. And if you get your dog sick in an SHTF situation, you're probably not going to find a vet. So if you love your dogs like I do, don't save dry dog food. Sandy Shepherd, having trouble finding seeds. Any suggestions, please? You're kind of in limbo right now for seeds. The seed companies they haven't harvested their seeds for next year yet. So you give it a month or so, and then you'll be able to find some seeds. Again, same thing like I talked to you about doing the seed exchange this year. Give it a month or so I can get some stuff harvested, get some seeds saved and prepped, and get this thing started again. Excuse me. Okay. Yes. Linda Bopp, can peas be planted in a kid's little swimming pool? Just clean the done plants out of it. Yeah. The only issue that you're going to have with it is how you put a trellis up around it, because peas will climb. Okay. You really don't want to leave your peas sprawling around the ground. They have a tendency, I know you can, okay, but you're going to have a tendency to get a lot more rotten peas that way if they're touching the ground. If you can figure out how to put, this is the easiest way that I can think of to do it too. If you got your swimming pool, it's what, 4 or 5 feet wide, put a couple of posts on the outside with T-posts or anything of the sort, run a bar or a string across it, and then run some string, however many plants, got one piece of string per plant up from the pea plant to the horizontal string. That would give you a decent enough trellis. But yeah, peas don't have deep roots, so yeah, certainly you could do it in a kiddie pool. Patriot Grandma, does Mrs. P have her own channel? No. Like I said, she's camera shy. If she ever said she wanted to do her own channel, I'd probably fall out of my chair. CHS Tennessee, how is Mrs. P coming along with a shareable kimchi recipe? It's going to be a little bit on that one. I got to grow the cabbage again. Okay, so it'd be a couple of months before we get that, because I just planted my fall planting of cabbage yesterday. So I can't do anything until I have heads of cabbage. Jordan Paul, best advice for new guys starting canning, just pick up the Presto 23 3-quart. Best advice I can give you, go watch the channel Sutton's Days, SUTTONSDAZE. Watch Lisa. Lisa's been canning forever, and I don't care what you want to can, she'll show you how to can it. But the other advice I will give you on canning, just do it. It's not hard. It scares the crap out of everybody. It's not hard, okay? And it's going to be fine. Just take a deep breath and go for it. Sharon Galway, thank you for your super chat. Greetings from Northern Ireland. There you go. I think that might be our first time I've seen somebody from Ireland comment. Christina Catherine, have I ever accidentally got cherry Twizzlers? Actually, I like the cherry Twizzlers better than the strawberry ones. The only problem is they only come in little bites, and I like the long strings. So, Crazy Train, did I ever backfeed a generator through a dryer outlet? No, and that is extremely dangerous. I have no intention whatsoever of burning down my house that you can do that. So, D-Freak, our solar panels came today, but one is broken. Yeah, I mean, that happens. I mean, don't even get me started on FedEx. I've been on the phone with FedEx 3 times this week because their driver lately decides it's fine leaving my packages down at the street. And, Mrs. P had something come the other day. It was a small box. He just I was sitting on the porch and watched him throw it out of the truck, not on my porch, down at the street. It's about 100 feet away. Okay. Throw it out of the truck onto the driveway. And if another car saw it, got dark or whatever it is, okay, just run over a package. Then I had a package that was supposed to be here yesterday from Elliot, and it didn't show up. Then it was supposed to be here today. I called FedEx. I'm like, because it was on their site. They said, oh, we attempted delivery at 6:30. It was 6:38 when I called FedEx. I said, I've been sitting on my front porch watching my dogs, and nobody came and tried to deliver a package. Oh, it'll be there tomorrow. Today rolled along. Now it was out for delivery all day until 8 o'clock, and then it was pending. So yeah, don't even get me started on these delivery companies and things being broken. Margaret Lytle, I was thinking about pressure canning butter in half-pint jars. Have you done this? Also, is there a difference between salted and unsalted butter? Actually, what you're going to look at is making ghee, And if you go to Rudy's channel, Alaska Prepper, he's got a couple of really good videos on making ghee. I'm not the canning expert, guys. That's why I don't do canning videos for the most part. I'm going to defer that to somebody who knows more. I'm not asking anybody to start dissecting the conversations that come out of the Federal Reserve. I know that stuff. I can talk about it. But when it comes to canning and things like that, I'm learning from these people and doing what they're telling me. I'm certainly not the qualified one, and I'm not going to fake it and say, well, gee, you need to do this. No, because they know what they're doing, and I'm following their instructions. So I'd rather have you follow their instructions than me screw something up and kill you. Jack Bauer, Pinball, what area do I need to focus on the most for prepping? Continuing my security of the perimeter of my house. That's the biggest thing that I need to continue to work on. Whoops, there we go. Shot to the bottom. Let's see. Hang on, I'm trying to find where we were. Okay, I only missed some. Let's see. Prep Rebel says my Bohemian sauerkraut is awesome. Thank you. That's good stuff. Paula, does anyone know where to get bulk sprouting seeds for sprout jars? I don't do sprouts, so I'm not going to be any help there. NT, the Dollar Tree in my area has seeds. Make sure you look at the packets and make sure they're not old. Look at the dates on them. Okay. Huts John, when will Klaus make seeds illegal? Well, last time I checked, Klaus wasn't elected to any office, so good luck doing that. And unless he suddenly decides that he can walk on water or something like that, and Klaus Schwab has become Jesus Christ, I don't see that ever happening, because good luck telling me that I can't save seeds from my tomatoes or my cucumbers or whatever. Good luck telling nature that tomato that just fell on the ground that is a volunteer plant, that you can't pick something off of that. A truck Campbell, do you think that we will share Yugoslavia's fate? I kind of hope so. Not the violence part, but the balkanization part. I hope so, believe it or not. I know it sounds terrible saying I want to see the demise of the United States, but there's a big problem. We are hardly united in the United States anymore. I mean, we are polar opposites of people that cannot live together anymore. It's just the way it is. And this country, in my opinion, needs to break up. Yeah, I know, and it's hard to say that, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Maggie Palacios, I'm putting in Mexican oregano in the seed box. Ooh, that ought to be interesting. Jill Durain, how do you store dry cat food? Same problem with dry cat food as dry dog food. It will go rancid. Please don't do it. Chalk Bluff Homesteader, do I follow the Old Farmer's Almanac for weather predictions? I look at it, in the springtime. It's like, okay, what's supposed to be the wet months? What's supposed to be the dry months? But all they're doing is going off of history. And the problem that you have is, the weather forecasters can't get the weather right for what tomorrow morning is going to be. Don't even pretend to tell me that you're going to tell me what the weather's going to be like in October. Okay, you can't get tomorrow morning right. D Freak, how does Gibbs get the boats out of his basement? I know what show you're talking about. I can't think of the name of the show now. The Navy, it wasn't JAG. Hell if I know. Moonlight Gardener, do I soak my peas overnight? Yes, absolutely. You don't have to, but you're going to get germination. Peas will germinate within a few days if you soak overnight, and that's a good thing. Anna B, when is a good time to plant garlic? For me, somewhere between Halloween and Thanksgiving. depending on your weather. Once you've passed your last frost date, then it's time that you can start putting your garlic in. Tug Hill, I've come to the conclusion it's cheaper to just buy from the farmer's market than trying to grow in the city with the small space. I've spent hundreds and only got a little bit of food. I understand what you're saying, and it's a learning experience, no doubt. Here's my question to you. What happens when the farmer's market isn't there anymore? Okay. We've got to wean ourselves off of being reliable on other people. Yes, you're learning. I understand you spent hundreds of dollars to do this. And sure, we all have crops that suck every year, and you go, crap, I bought those seeds, I did all that work, I got nothing out of it. Yes, what you did get out of it was a learning experience. And so you know what to do different next year. He knows and cares how to keep gophers from eating fig roots and killing the trees. Again, I can't answer that. I've never had the problem. We actually had our first fig off of our fig tree that we planted a couple of years ago. I had it earlier this week. Mrs. P came by and go, look, we got a fig. It was really good. So, but I can't tell you about gophers because I don't have the problem. And this is the first place I've ever grown fig trees as well. So, Tina, have they stopped culling chickens because of the bird flu? Sure. It was never because of the bird flu or anything like that. That was just the scare tactic. And when the scare tactic didn't work, they moved on to the next one. Okay. Nana KK, I learned water bath from the Amish. There you go. Looking. Pamela Zwierink, is vacuum packing beef jerky in a canning jar safe? Yes, absolutely. UPS or USPS is not any better. None of them are any good. I mean, this is the thing, you know. And let's see. Cynthia Dadge, when for zone 7 do I start cabbage? You should be starting your seedlings now. Okay, you're not that far from me. I'm zone 6B. So, and I just started my cabbage in seed trays here yesterday. They'll probably go out in the garden mid-August. Carol, what canner do you recommend? I've got a Presto. I've got a cheap one. I think it cost me $79 or something like that. I know some people love their all-American canners or anything like that. I just need one that does the job, and I haven't had any problems with it. So, Jason, FedEx left my package of rifle ammo at the end of the driveway by the road. Delivery instructions specifically stated, do not leave by road, deliver to porch. Package was stolen before I got home. Oh yeah, I had a bag of dog food that was stolen here last spring. Okay, here we go to the bottom again. Holy crap, it's 3 minutes still. RLRL, dry dog food in a freezer will last years. My vet zoologist taught me that. Sure, okay, I'll give you that. I'm not taking up my freezer space for dog food, okay? Sorry, freezer space is at a premium. You know, that freezer space is for meat. I can feed my dog meat. I'm not feeding me dog food. NCIS, there you go. You guys got I couldn't think of it. Prepping for Heaven, check out Rose Red's video on Russian roulette canning. Okay. Never heard of Rose Red, but all right. Let's see. Healthy disrespect for authority. Do you think there are enough people prepping to make a difference? To make a difference in what? Okay. Make a difference in surviving? There's going to be a shitload of people that are going to die, guys. Estimates are if we go into full-blown SHTF, 90% of the world's population dies within the first year. The preppers aren't one of them because we've got the food. We've got the water. We've got the skills. Everybody's going to be coming to us for help. This is why you kind of need to keep it quiet. You know, there's going to be a lot of people freaking out because they don't do anything. Will it make a difference? Like I said, prepping is not, it's a lifestyle now, but it's a means to an end. It's a means to get you to come out the other side. Okay. It's, nobody intends to be living off of what's in your pantry for the rest of their lives. Okay. It's a means to get us to the other side, and not everybody's going to make it. Okay. One more. Okay. Charlie Knoll, get rid of Gopher Watch Caddyshack. Get rid of Gopher Watch Caddyshack. Yeah, there you go. Let's see if we can find a question. No, I'm not running into any questions. All right. Well, it is 10 o'clock anyway, so that'll be where we wrap it up for the night. Have a great evening, guys. We'll see you all in the morning. Pinball out.